All right, guys, you're here with Josh Thomson. We're here for Punk's Opinion. We're going to do a quick little breakdown of some stuff. Maybe we're going to talk first off, we're going to talk about the UFC real quick. And there was a little bit of controversy, not so much controversy, but just people talking about it. And the buzz was about Jessica Andrade basically picking up Rose and slamming her on her head, and if that was an illegal blow, or if it was like you're not allowed to pick people up and actually slam them on their head. I don't know if you guys follow Big John McCarthy, but if you guys follow him, he gave the full breakdown of exactly why that is legal. And the reason why it is legal, it's no different than I'm going to explain also later in like talking about the Chandler and Patricio fight, about an illegal, that people were talking about an illegal blow there as well. I'll explain to you guys. If somebody shoots a takedown, right, and when on their double leg and their knee hits the ground and the guy gets kneed in the face at the same time, you know that's considered like an illegal blow. But the problem is it's not really an illegal blow because it happened all in transition in doing the move. As in this position here with her, Jessica Andrade picks her up, and Rose is trying to hit, I believe, like a Kimura or, you know, the armbar position. I think it's a Kimura. Tries to hit the Kimura position, and when she does that, she has the option to let go of that submission attack and basically get back to her feet or not try to control that position anymore, which means that she held on to it all the way to the doom of being slammed. So that's really like the submission was really at her own doing, or the knockout or the slam to the head on the head was to her own doing. So like Big John was saying, she had the option to let go of it. And the option is that she didn't let go of it. So when she didn't let go of it, she put herself in danger by keeping that all the way to the point where she got slammed on her head. That's really what the rule comes down to. Look, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not picking sides either way. I love watching Rose Namajunas fight. I think obviously Rose was winning and dominating the fight up until that moment. It has to do with the fact of whether we're going to see, I think a lot of the talk and conversation right now is whether we're going to see Rose ever fight again. I think we will see her fight again. I don't know if she will continue to be the same Rose that we are seeing now at this level. There's a lot of things that are going on, I think, with her right now. And I don't know what it is, but I think she's kind of fallen into that little bit of Rory McDonald. I don't know if it's God or Jesus or just her faith or whatever it is. It's that people sometimes battle with the feeling that they are causing bodily damage and harm to somebody else. And even though they love the training aspect of it, they love the competition aspect of it, and they love doing this, their inner demons or their inner self tells them that they shouldn't be hurting somebody else or another human being. And I mean, in a really weird way, I can understand where they're coming from, but when your name is Rose Thug Namajunas, you got some other issues also. Absolutely love watching her fight. I think she's an all-time, I think she has the potential to be like an all-time great. And, I'd like to see her fight again. Obviously, I'd love to see her fight again. And here's the other thing, though, is it kind of goes right back into that whole, like, Joanna can beat Jessica Andrade. And now we have a carousel of the girls that are at the top. And I think it makes for a very interesting fight, man. I think it makes for very interesting women's MMA. I feel like you always need, like, that kind of that third person to kind of mix everything up. Or you have two guys that are just nemesis, like I've said, I don't know how many times about like Gilbert and myself. We are just two guys that we seem to bring the best out in each other. And I think that Joanna brings out the best in Rose, and Jessica Andrade brings out the best in Joanna. So the two of them, or the three of them, all intermixed with each other definitely makes for an amazing like little kind of triangle. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Triangle of each other. You know, a triangle of fighting, a triangle of fights, and it just makes for I think it makes for the promotion. It's definitely something that's good, especially for that weight class, that division. It definitely will bring a little bit more excitement, I think, to that division, the fact that they can all kind of intermix with each other and have good fights. The next thing is, I have never been there's been no secret to me. I'm not a big fan of Anderson Silva. I have not been a big fan of Anderson Silva just since he's been caught cheating. I've made it very clear. I'm not fans of people that have been caught cheating. Now, Now, it has nothing to do with being a fan. Just has to do with, I don't generally like kind of support the fact that there was a ton of things that were led into him being considered to be one of the greatest of all time and all these other things. And I just have always wondered like how many times he has, how long he's been fighting and how many of those fights and those wins has he cheated. So those are things that have always been on my mind. And I wonder if we go back through a lot of his past drug tests with USADA and if they would come up with anything that would catch them for cheating. So I think about it all the time, and I'm not sure if that's something USADA will do. I know they did that a little bit with TJ Dillashaw, and they had caught him cheating in some of his past fights. Apparently there was none of them that were in the Cody No Love fights, but that there was some apparent cheating from before. I think that's why he got the full 2-year suspension. But just to be honest with you, look, at this age and with the losses and everything that he has apparently accomplished, and I don't know how much of it is he accomplished legitly, but I feel like at this stage, just recently he was asking for a TRT exemption again, and that they should be allowed to use TRT again. And I feel like it's almost like somebody doesn't know how to fight without it. When somebody is basically bringing it up that they should allow it to happen again, and you could tell that he was probably using it then, for him to come out and say that he would like to have that exemption brought back.
It's like going to rehab and saying, "Can I just get a drink tonight?"
Yeah, it's I don't know. And look, I'm not trying to. I really am not trying to slam him or talk bad about him. I just feel like there's a ton of things that I think there was just too many fights that he had. They were so dominating, and his height, his length, his reach, his speed, all those things. Obviously, he had all those intangibles, probably before he was cheating. But here's the thing: you look at like guys like Lance Armstrong, and this is the number one thing that people will always refer to as far as cheating. Is in cycling, it's well known that pretty much everyone cheated, and Lance Armstrong just so happened to be the best at the cheating aspect of it. That's why he had won so many Tour de France's. Like he was just cheating against guys that didn't know how to cheat as well as him, and that's all it was, And I think maybe in the times that Anderson was cheating, sure, maybe a lot of the other guys were cheating because they're still catching guys cheating now with USADA. And look, if those guys are getting caught cheating now with USADA, it means that they were cheating a long time ago when there wasn't as much probably drug testing before. And I don't even know how much, and I've said this I don't know how many times, I sometimes feel like USADA is crooked, because you don't hear about the drug test and the failing of the drug test until after the fight, until after the money's been made by the organization, until after someone has been knocked out by whatever fighter, and then, all of a sudden, these guys are testing positive. So, I think those are the fights that I think that I feel like that there's so many different ways for me to look at it, and this is I think as somebody at his age, 44 years old, still trying to fight. Obviously, it sounds like he tore his knee, and if he did tear his knee, I mean, he'll be out for at least a year. He'll come back at like 45, maybe 46 years old. I just don't see it happening, and if he does, I mean, is he gonna stay on the USADA testing, while he's trying to recuperate? So those are all things that I think are we keep inside the wheelhouse and we see what happens. But this may be the last time we ever see him fight. And now here's the thing, and let's be honest. I mean, are we in the baseball era of putting these guys with an asterisk next to their name in the home run derby? Like, you have all these wins. I believe he had like most consecutive wins as a title defense or whatever. Do we put an asterisk next to his name? Like, if you think so, just comment down below. Or just comment in the comment section and say like yes or no or whatever it is you think. But I mean, like, I feel like there's an era of things that we should maybe put an asterisk next to these guys' names, and I don't know. There's a lot to be said about all this. And, as far as Anderson Silva goes, I almost feel like the same kind of way I feel about John Jones. They were guys that had all the intangibles. They had the speed, the length, the reach, the you know, obviously this outstanding stand-up technique and, you know, not too bad on the ground. And John Jones had good wrestling. Anderson Silva had good wrestling takedown defense. You know, not really good wrestling himself, but he had good defense, decent defense. I mean, like these guys, when you compare the two guys together, they're very much like, almost like very similar in style. You know, John Jones obviously had a lot better wrestling overall, and just a different, he had a different repertoire of like things that he would throw out there. He's the younger version. I think if Anderson Silva was the now version of a John Jones, I think they would be almost exactly alike. I mean, you'd see more of the spinning back up elbows and whatever, you know, all the things that John has gotten away with doing and trying to do, and he kind of set the precedent for coming out the gates trying to do things that we had never seen before. Very impressive. The athleticism is all there. But the fact that they've both been caught cheating, they've both been caught being, you know, and one being caught, you know, being just a dumbass with a bunch of other stuff. But the two of them, they had all the intangibles. And so when people say like, oh, well, you know, they'd still be champions if they didn't cheat. Well, how do you know? Like, how do you don't know that? And that's the only thing that concerns me, is that you'll never know. You know, and that's the only thing that bothers me the most, is that, yeah, they probably would have been champions. I'm just simply saying they probably both would have been champions. You know, maybe they wouldn't have been as champions as long, or maybe they just, you know, whatever it is. But I mean, we'll never know. That's the issue. The issue and the concern is that we'll never know. So do we put an asterisk next to their name? I mean, I feel like we do. We should. And I think there's other guys. Guys like José Aldo have never tested positive. They've always looked the part, like maybe they were, you know, but then they fight like animals, man. Like, I mean, like José Aldo was a fucking warrior. And I don't ever recall him testing positive. I love watching the guy fight. He has a fighting style that you could potentially say maybe would make him test positive. We've seen guys like that are extremely powerful, strong, athletic, and all these things, right? And they tend to kind of slow down and gas out, you know, in top level fights. And he's had a couple of those type of fights where he's fought guys that just had better push and cardio than him, because he throws everything with so much power. So that was, you could say, but he's never tested positive. He's never been that guy. And, you know, and so I just, with guys like him, and there was a lot of rumors about GSP as well, but he never tested positive. So when you have GSP and you've got José Aldo, and there's guys like that that have never tested positive, I'm not someone to like criticize them or just take away all the accolades they've done and can put them in the same category as someone like John Jones and Anderson Silva. And I'm sure I'm going to get crucified for this on, you know, all over social media or all over YouTube. But it's like, the bottom line is that you have guys like that have never tested hot and that still have managed to be at the top, you know, and it always just leaves the doubt and the wonder of what's going on. And that's all. And that's enough. That's the most I'm going to probably talk on that. What other fights were on that card? José Aldo came out with the decision loss. I mean, close fight, you know, but like, yeah. Look, Aldo will be back. I don't think Anderson Silva will be back, you know, and that's it, man. Like, that's really the only fights that are kind of, you know, that we'll talk about. I guess now, like, we'll pull up Bellator.
Do you want the card?
Yeah, let's pull up the card. So here's the card. It's Taiwan Claxton had a pretty dominant performance. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but it was freaking hilarious. He was like talking to 50 Cent as he's beating up James Bennett. And James just has, basically James like the guy that has like the one move. He has this go-go choke, which he gets from Ben Rothwell. And like, he just talks about how he can hit it from everywhere. He can do it from everywhere. But someone like Taiwan Claxton is just a smart fighter, you know, very athletic, has a ton of athleticism to shine. And he speaks very confident, and just when I talk with him during the week with the fighter meetings, he was just like, look, man, I train with a lot of really good guys, and he's like, there's nothing this guy's gonna do to me, and there's no way. He's like, I'm gonna dominate and control this position, every position of this fight, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, he is a budding new rising star in Bellator. What's great, I don't know if they'll show it on here, but on the highlights or whatever. What's great is his post-fight interview was fucking hilarious. It made me like crack up. Yeah. He was like, man, I was waiting for that motherfucker to quit. He never quit. I started cracking up. No, he's young, very smart guy too. Pretty much does all he does. Like he just does tons of coding, program for apps, coding for apps and things like that. So, just sits there and he focuses mainly on tons of coding. That's all he is doing, and to try to design and develop his own personal apps as well as like apps for other companies as well. So when he's not training, basically he's coding, and when he's not coding, he's training. So. And I thought he looked very impressive. It was kind of the fight that he needed. It was the kind of the fight he needed. He needed a fight that would drag him into deep waters, and he just couldn't put the guy away. And he talks about how he couldn't put him away, and he talked about how how he had kind of a hard time, finishing him. Finally, was able to get the stop, but man, he did everything he could to show a dominant performance in that fight, and I was very impressed with him. I mean, he's a young and up and coming kid. He's got the, they call him Eric Claxton because he's at a highlight reel flying knee knockout. Beautiful work, where he jumped basically halfway across the cage, knocked the guy out. I mean, everything he does, he's nice, man. He's a good kid, nice kid. Like, tried to land the high and flying knee there, couldn't get it, right to the outside leg trip. I mean, he fights a very good fight. So I'm very impressed with his dominant performance. And then the next fight on the card was Jake Hager, Jack Swagger, and maybe Dave, you can give us the breakdown on the fight. Go ahead.
So Jack Swagger obviously was having a tough time. He ran out, grabbed the steel chair, came back in. No, I actually really enjoyed it, man. I'm surprised he's not talking more, like prior to the fight and all that. He maybe wants to wait to prove himself.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I mean, here's the thing, though. I'm very impressed with, he has, not only, all we did was talk about his wrestling. Everyone just kept talking to me about, his wrestling this, his wrestling that. And I'm like, look, you're a big guy, you got decent wrestling, and he's not, let's just be honest, he's not fighting the best guys in the world, and we know that. But they're not out there like they were with CM Punk in the UFC, trying to throw him to the wolves, man. And they're giving him guys that, we can try to build him on. Let him get his feet wet. I do know that the level and step up in the competition of next fight will be a little bit more, and, they're trying to build him. I think at this age, though, too, they're trying to make sure that he doesn't get hurt, and they're just trying to make sure that, they're able to get good press and good media out of him because he's got a good persona, and he talks really well, and he does a really good job. And what I loved here is that he went from being the crowd favorite to being the heel. And being the heel was perfect for him. And he soaked it up and soaked it all in. And I think he did a good job doing it, man. Let's be honest. This next couple of fights, we're gonna try to get him, some wins, and we're gonna see if the cream rises to the top. I mean, he's got the wrestling pedigree to back it up. He was down some weight from his first fight, and he performed really well. He did what he was supposed to do and go out there and get the win. He did in a dominant performance. What I want to tell you is that I talked about this on the broadcast for Bellator. I said his jiu-jitsu game's not too bad. He gets behind, he gets the hips in, he rides the guy real well, like a wrestling ride. But he sets up that side choke really well, and he's pretty good in the Kimura. He likes that Kimura / key lock kind of position, but that's relatively. That's a relatively basic game for guys that are new in the sport. But his positioning is not bad, man. And I think honestly, his next fight and his next two fights will be a big step up in competition, more so than Kaiser and TJ Jones. But those guys, I mean, they went in there with an opportunity to be stars. They couldn't get it done, and now we're gonna move on to his next two fights will be a big step up in competition, and we'll see what happens. Look. What I love is what he said afterwards. You guys can boo me. I don't know I don't understand the phoner thing, but that was a little weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, he had a fucking bone. Someone said it was a fucking boner. That's what it meant. I don't know. A phoner is I guess I don't know. I guess a fucking boner, I guess, is what it was meant to be. I don't know. Who knows?
So I heard you on the broadcast defending his long choke at the end there.
Yeah.
What advice do you have in that scenario where he thought it was just he thought it was the opponent just tapping him or trying to push him. He didn't realize it was
Yeah, I mean, the guy could have been trying to hit him, strike him, but in all honesty, too, you have to have more ring awareness than that. Like, you're also talking about the fighter's safety.
Yeah. But do you think maybe that's the referee's job to yell at him, get off?
No, I mean, he probably was. I don't know if we heard it. I'm sure Beltran was the ref, and Beltran, I think, was trying to tell him to get off. I would imagine he was like, hey, he was probably yelling at him a little bit. But the other thing as well is, and I'm not trying to condone what he did. I'm just simply trying to say that you're talking about a guy who is, he's new to the sport. He doesn't know the extent of you hold the submission and learning the idea of like you hold it until the ref stops it, and you have to do that. You have to, and you at the highest level, like the last thing you want is to end up having somebody say I didn't tap, and the ref's like, it just causes like confusion and all this other stuff. And then it's tainted. You could have been not like destroying the guy, which he was, and the guy and the ref doesn't stop it, and he lets it go because he thinks the guy is tapping, and when he doesn't, he lets it go, and then all of a sudden it's like this big, I didn't tap, I didn't do it, and it's a weird thing, It's like, then it kind of taints what what the submission could have been or what it was, and what happens if he loses that position, and then he ends up getting knocked out if they start back up on their feet or whatever it is, he ends up getting knocked out. It's like, I guess I'd rather be safe than sorry, and in no way am I trying to condone it, but it does sound like I am. It really just comes down to it's the inexperience. You have a guy who's never fought. He's had 2 fights now. This is his second fight, and there was some miscommunication in the first fight, and so that's why he gave his explanation on why he did what he did in the second fight. Because there was nothing that his opponent did to make him want to hold that longer. It wasn't like he was a total asshole to him or anything like that. So leading up to the fight, he was a really respectful kid, super nice kid, all the way around.
TJ Jones?
Yeah.
He said TJ Jones was talking trash quite a lot.
Oh, was he?
Did you see him at the weigh-ins? He was talking a little bit of trash.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Some trash, yeah.
He was such a nice. I know he was just saying like, yeah, I'm gonna touch him with my hands and touch his chin and this and that, but that's normal, man.
It was pretty minimal, but he was kind of trying to press his buttons a little bit.
Interesting.
Just trying to soak up the experience, I think.
Yeah. You see his walkout dance moves? That was awesome.
They were good.
That was awesome. The crowd went crazy for his song too. They fucking loved it. They loved it.
The crowd loves an underdog.
Yeah. So the next fight is AJ McKee and Pat Curran. I mean, it really wasn't the fight that I expected, to be honest. And I thought Pat showed that he didn't really take hardly any damage. I thought he looked really good. He did a lot better than I thought he would, given that he had been inactive for almost 2 years, like almost 600 days or something like that, 580 something days. And I thought Pat did a good job. I thought it was a good fight back for him. He fought composed. I do know in the fight arena he was waiting for AJ McKee to overextend so he could slip and counter, or basically like cut an angle and counter. And AJ could feel that coming on, and he just realized that he's like, man, he's like, I felt like he knew, like, I knew that's what he was trying to do, and I couldn't. He's like, I didn't want to leave myself out of position and get countered and knocked out. He's like, Curran's the guy that he's been able to do that. He's been able to come back and snap out of those the jaws of defeat or whatever you'd say. Like, he's come back in the last minute or two of fights and been able to get finishes against people. And AJ was just one of those guys. He's like, I don't want to end up in that position. So I feel like this was a good fight for AJ to get some rounds, get the experience that he needed, and and it was a good fight for him. I mean, I think Pat knew, but here's the thing. Both these guys are going to be in that welterweight tournament. Or not welterweight, sorry, featherweight tournament. The featherweight tournament. So both those guys will be in the featherweight tournament. And they may potentially meet in the featherweight tournament. They'll probably put them on the opposite end of the bracket, given the fact that they've already just fought. So they'll see if they'll meet in the finals. I could potentially see someone like Curran, starting off against somebody like Patricio, and then going from there. I mean, like if you look at the welterweight tournament, they went with Ed Ruth and Neiman Gracie in the first round. And it was almost as if like, hey, you guys, like we're going to give you guys a fight in the, You guys are both relatively new, inexperienced, and then the winner of that will get a chance to fight for the welterweight title against either the winner of Rory and Fitch, which just so happens to be Rory. But I just feel like right now this tournament is it really is Douglas Lima's tournament to lose. He is nasty, man. And I'm not simply saying just because of the way he fought Michael Venom Page. I'm just saying like he's nasty. I think what people need to understand is the reality of how close that fight was with him and Rory McDonald. That let him know that he's one of the best welterweights in the world, if not the best welterweight in the world. Because I think that, every fighter wants to know, like, hey, how good am I? So when somebody else comes from another organization that you've never had to fight against or has beaten other guys in their top organization, they come over to your organization and then you're right there with them. I think a lot of that fight was Douglas Lima was kind of doubting himself going into that fight, into that Rory fight. Not doubting himself, just it wasn't as confident as he is like walking into this MVP fight. He was like, there's no way. No way this guy's beating me. Calm, composed, patient. I mean, it's his tournament to lose. This kid's nasty, man. Like the leg kicks he has, the power obviously in his hands. We saw the power and we saw the jiu-jitsu also too when he gets on top against Korshkov when he finished him. I mean, he's good. He's calm, composed. And like he said, he just kind of had to wait and be patient, and he fought a very smart fight. And the one thing I'll give credit to with MVP is he said, look, I couldn't afford to make a mistake. In the whole fight, I couldn't afford to make the mistake. And, oh, man, just that one little leg kick and the power that he possessed, and he was out. He was out. He hit that calf kick. And I had said in the broadcast, too, I said, in the Bellator broadcast with Chael and Jay, I was like, those low-level calf kicks and those leg kicks are going to be a factor. And the reason why they're going to be a factor is because he has such a wide stance. When you have a wide stance like that, if you don't check kicks as you step in, you end up on your back like that, which I thought more or less like they're either going to hurt him a lot to the point where he's going to have to keep switching stance. It's going to minimize how much mobility he uses as the fight goes on because it was a 5-round fight. But in no way did I think he was going to sweep him off of his feet and then be able to finish him like that. But I thought also, too, if he did sweep him off his feet or he ended up having to, like, kick him and he couldn't stand anymore and pull guard, the last thing he wanted Lima on top of him raining down punches. Because we saw with Paul Daly, Lima did Paul Daly did a good job of when he got on top, trying to do some damage. So, and Lima's just, I think, a different animal in that area altogether. And he showed that a little bit with Korshkov, like where he just kept weathering the storm with Korshkov with the takedowns, stuffing the takedowns, and able to keep trying to get back up. And as the fight went to the 4th and the 5th round, man, he was able to get to his back and finish him. Lima's nasty good. I mean, there's just nothing that I don't see a whole lot other than the fact that like he likes to sometimes, not likes to, but he just doesn't use as much emphasis on trying to get up from the bottom as the fight goes on. So he fights at a slow pace in the 4th and the 5th round. And you see that pace start to happen when he fought Rory McDonald. He kind of slows down in that 4th and 5th round. And he got, in that 5th round, he ended up getting taken down. When he got taken down, there was no attempt really to get back up to his feet. And he's good. He's just so good. I mean, I'd put him right up there with a lot of the top guys in the world, if not the best. And it's crazy, man. It's nuts. He's good. He's so under recognized, underappreciated. But geez, man, just good. It looks like he barely grazed him on the chin, but it was just right on the button, and the MVP was out, just out.
Hey, do you think that Bellator didn't prepare it as well enough for a draw between any fighters?
No, that was the rules.
Was it the rule from the
Yeah, the rule that was the rules. The rules are stated in the athletic commission in the rules. The rules are that if the champion is fighting and defending his title in a tournament situation, in case of a draw, the champion moves on. Yeah. Those are the rules. Yeah, those are the rules.
Do you think they'll let Fitch run it back with Rory or the champion, whoever wins it?
I doubt it. In my personal opinion.
Do you think it was really a draw, or do you think Fitch won?
I actually thought Fitch won. I thought Fitch won. But here's the thing: is I thought Fitch won 4, 5, and 6. Sorry, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 4, 5, and 6. That was stupid. Sorry, 3, 4, and 5. But one or two judges had him winning the third 10-8. And I was like, that I didn't get that. I don't think any of the rounds were a 10-8 round from Rory or from Fitch. So I don't know. It was a really weird night in scoring that night also too, because like later on in the post lims or whatever, they had 2 more draws.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was like the judges were all off, man. So I don't know, which is strange because San Jose judging is not bad normally. You know, we're a fight town, so we're a hockey town, we're a fight town. It's like we have a pretty good idea of, you know, how to judge fights here, you know, in the Bay Area. So it threw me off when I saw, you know, later on we had, you know, two more draws and it was shit. So, but anyways,
is it? Do you think it'll be Rory and Lima in the final, or do you think?
You know, I don't know, man. Neiman Gracie, he's a dark horse. He's a dark horse in all this. No one thought. Everyone talks about like Ed Ruth, 3-time national champ from Penn State University, got taken down, I want to say 3 times by Neiman Gracie. You know, now granted, Ed Ruth gassed out and got tired, but that's not the point. Point is, you still, even in a gassed out, tired Ed Ruth, he got taken down 3 times by a jiu-jitsu guy. Oof. Not to mention this. There's a stare down after the Rory fight between Neiman and Rory. Neiman is huge compared to Rory McDonald. Height-wise, looks like broad shoulder-wise, size-wise. Now, Fitch is not that much bigger than Rory, like maybe a little bit wider and stuff like that, but not actually height-wise and stuff. They're about the same. But look at that. Look at the size of those two guys. Neiman Gracie's probably a good, 2 inches taller? Maybe 3? Now, let's say Neiman's also in shoes, so he's probably about 2 inches taller. But shoulder-wise, thickness, all that stuff.
You got 6 foot versus 5'11", yeah, 2 inches.
2 inches, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Neiman looks a lot bigger than him all the way around. And I think also too, like with Neiman, like he's got all the intangibles to do it. His stand-up's not that great, but it's okay. But what I do like about him is his takedowns are a lot of upper body takedowns. So if he always had to do is punch his way into the clinch against Rory, you know, and I think his jiu-jitsu is going to be way more superior than Rory's. Rory's jiu-jitsu is not bad, but Neiman's going to have a real jiu-jitsu game where Rory has an MMA version of a jiu-jitsu game. And people have that to understand. There's a big difference, man. Like, you hit submissions or you hit sweeps in jiu-jitsu to like, get up and not get punched. Like, these guys, they methodically, like, good jiu-jitsu guys methodically hit their sweeps and hit their submissions, and they know how to lock you up and tie you up. Now, they use a lot of energy doing it, so they tend to slow down as the fight goes on, especially in a 5-round fight. But Neiman will still be there, I think, in like the third and the fourth, and maybe into the 5th as the fight goes on. Outside of like getting clipped, and Roy didn't look dominant or great against Fitch. And when you have somebody who's constantly just trying to take you down and constantly trying to push into that, I don't think Neiman's going to do what Fitch did, where he just kept like shooting on the leg or hanging on the ankle and doing. But if I was him, I would take a page out of Fitch's book and maybe potentially do that, because it's exhausting. You never get an opportunity to throw anything you want. Like, you want to throw a straight right, but then the guy shoots a takedown. You're like, shit. You want to throw a flying knee and the guy punches you. You want to throw a kick. The guy catches the kick and tries to just shoot in on you. It's frustrating. Not only is it frustrating, but it's tiring, because the guy's constantly just trying to grab your legs. The guy's constantly just trying to like tie you up, grab your arms, lock to a body lock, clinch, hug, hold, hang on you. It's a lot of work. And people that don't understand the sport, it's frustrating, because it's not like in boxing where you just punch and then as soon as you guys touch each other, the ref's like, okay, break. And then you guys come back out and start punching again. Okay, good, break. It's not like that. This is, guys if they can lock their hands on you and you can't get out, they'll just hold you there the whole damn time, especially on your feet. Refs aren't really breaking you guys these days, man. They're making you try to work out from that position, especially in a 5-round fight. If you're locked up quickly in the first 2 rounds, maybe even the 3rd round, the ref's not like, okay, guys, break. It's pretty rare that happens. So I do think that Rory gets past Neiman. I think in no way does he beat Douglas Lima. If he fights at the rate that he fought Fitch, no way. Not a chance. I don't think he beats him.
Do you think Bellator's been pretty lucky with their Grand Prix as far as like everything staying intact? It's been pretty good, eh? The heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember though too when you have $1 million on the line, as well as your fight purses that you're getting paid, and these guys are getting paid pretty well.
Heavyweight wasn't $1 million, or was it?
No, because 50 Cent came in after that. Yeah. You know, so and then on top of it too, the title was on the line, but not every fight.
Will they do that with the featherweight the same way?
Yes.
Do you think?
Yep.
16 man.
16 man. Yep. In a year too, so all the fights are gonna happen pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, you'll have cards where it's like basically the first round on the left side of the bracket. You know.
Do you think the Grand Prix are a good way to make divisions relevant? Like where?
Yeah, what it is a good way to kind of establish your ranking.
That's good too, right?
Yeah,
Bellator doesn't have a ranking.
No, we don't really have a ranking.
Oh, this kind of came up based on ranking. So when we were at Bellator in San Jose, I was asking Sammy about who fighters that are in the blue corner and the red corner and how it's based on ranking. So how does Bellator determine that? And he said he doesn't think it's based on ranking, but I think it is. The UFC is all the time though. Every time you see a UFC fight, the lower ranked person is always blue.
Yeah, I think it's the other way around in this organization.
In Bellator?
Yeah. Chandler's red. Notice.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But Chandler's title's on the line.
Yeah, he's higher ranked. So when
so the champions always, the higher ranks always red.
That's what I just told you. It's different than the other one. You said UFC was blue.
No, UFC's higher ranked is red. That's what.
You said blue.
No, I said red.
No, you didn't.
Okay, well,
we'll play back in the time. You said blue, that's why I said it's the other way around. Look, regardless though, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it comes down to also too, like sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 guys in a corner that are from the same team or they train together and they kind of want to be in that same corner, so they kind of sometimes do that. But Bellator don't give a shit. Like right now, they don't care about that shit. Like that's not something they even give a crap about.
But you don't think there's somebody whose job it is to know that and to manage that?
No, because right now, like they're still, I think, trying to establish their rankings. I think that's what the tournament system is doing right now. The tournament system for them right now is doing the rankings, and honestly, like think about it, the MVP fight was, I want to say it was like in SportsCenter's top 10. Last week we had Raymond Daniels in SportsCenter top 10. Like we had like this is crazy, man. Like the fights are producing what they were supposed to be producing, and the fact that Patricio fighting the way he was supposed to fight, coming there and knocks out Michael Chandler, who, you know, obviously the bigger guy. You didn't really realize that until you see them square up face to face in the opening at the start of the fight, you know. And I mean, honestly, this was just one of those fights. I'm always in vote of the underdog. I love watching underdogs action happen and this type of stuff. But man, you couldn't be happier for this guy to come in there and do what he wanted to do, and basically to kind of redeem the family situation. And I think it was great. Chandler just stays done. Like he stands up, he gets a little wobbly, you know, and it is what it is. And here's the thing. I think Pitbull Patricio also came out and said like, hey, you know, if he's like, no, there will not be an automatic rematch. No, I will not fight him again unless he fights my brother first. So and just let's be honest, Patricio is the older brother and the one at 55, but Patricio is the one that pretty much is like next in line for a title shot. Anyways, just had wrist surgery because he hurt his wrist and his wrist and his thumb, I think, from his last fight in the UK against Ryan Scope. But he's realistically kind of next in line. He's beaten Benson, he's beat Ryan Scope, he's beat who else did he beat? I want to say, I can't remember who else he beat, but yeah, Patricio beat a bunch of guys. Beat myself, beat Roger Huerta. That's who he beat. So he beat me, then he beat Benson, then he beat Derek Campos, then he beat Roger Huerta, then he beat Ryan Scope. I mean, he's pretty much next in line, you know. But he really needs a dominating performance, man. He needs a dominant performance against one person to get that title shot. and he hasn't had it yet.
Knockouts. He's got 3 knockouts in his last 5.
Yeah, but it's just not. Campos is a little bit of a smaller guy. He should be fighting in a he should be fighting at 45. That fight should be at 45. Then Roger Huerta, it was a tough fight for him. He came in. He said he was had a really upset stomach that fight, and so he was kind of feeling sick after, especially halfway through the first round.
So are you making excuses for all of his knockouts?
No. Oh,
the headbutt.
No. I'm simply he straight up stomach. He straight up beat Derek Campos, but Derek Campos is a smaller guy. He should be fighting at 45. So I'm not saying that at all. And Brian Scope, I don't think he just didn't have a good performance, and it was a split decision win, which a lot of people had him losing the fight. And his fight with Benson Henderson was lackluster. Wasn't a great performance from either fighter, to be honest. But look, he has all the intangibles to do it and be a dominant. But for somebody like this, for Patricio to come in here, do what he did, people thought that Chandler was going to have the speed on Patricio. And I was like, dude, you have a guy who's 145. As the fight would have went on, I would have probably given maybe the fight more favoring Patricio, except for maybe in the 4th and 5th round. The 2nd and 3rd round, Chandler still has quite a bit there. And people were saying it was an early stoppage. And if you go back and you watch it, no, it was not an early stoppage, man. It wasn't like he was covering his head. It wasn't like he was covering his ears. And this is another. This is what?
No, on you go.
Well, here's the other thing: I'm going to talk about that punch. People were talking about how it was an illegal punch. It's not an illegal punch. If a guy is stepping in and throwing a punch, and the guy throws a punch and it hits him behind the ear. The other thing, though, too, is the actual punch landed and hit his ear. If any part of your glove touches the ear, it's not illegal. It's not an illegal punch. And the refs will tell you that. If your glove, any part of your glove, touches the ear, it's not an illegal punch.
But
see how he's not moving right there?
Yeah, but look, he's up
6 unanswered shots.
No, it's not 6, though, look. So he lands this one behind the ear, right?
Okay, 1 shot.
This one misses.
Misses that one.
Right. This one misses.
Kind of grazes, but go ahead.
Misses.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Gets okay.
Right.
I'm just simply saying.
All right.
And here's people want to talk to me about that shot there is not illegal, the one they dropped him, because there's nothing you can do about that. That happens in fighting. The guy steps in, you get hit, you get clocked, hit behind the ear, you get hit on the temple, whatever it is. But part of the glove actually hit his ear, so it's not an illegal shot. So that's 1. So 2 is when he's what happened?
Sorry, on you go.
Oh, so when he covers up, he doesn't actually cover up. He goes face down, and he doesn't put his hands behind his ears. He doesn't say anything. He's not doing anything. And people want to blame the ref, but the problem is it's not like he moved. And let me give you guys a for instance. I got dropped one time by Hermes Franca in the 3rd round of the fight, and I got dropped, and as I got dropped, I could see the ground. My eyes were wide open, and I'm falling towards the canvas. My eyes are wide open, and I'm like, hey, put your hands up, And my arms are not moving. It wasn't until my face bounced off the canvas that I wake up and get back to my feet. And not back to my feet, but then I start scrambling, was able to kind of defend and kind of keep my hands in front of my face, all those things, right? It wasn't until that moment that happened. So the canvas, when I banged my face off the canvas, that woke me up and everything was great. I just kept on fighting. The reality of it all is that Michael Chandler could have been out. His eyes could have been open. He just couldn't move because the shots that he was taking had stunned him and was his body was paralyzed. It happens all the time, you guys. And I'll give you another for instance. I got kicked in the head in the neck by Yves Edwards. He kicked me in the neck, and I was still awake. Boom. My body went limp. I hit the ground, and when I fell sideways. I could still see Yves coming at me, to punch me. And when I see him coming at me, you would think I was out. I'm here looking at him right there. See, I try to recover, and he hits me. He just taps me one more time, and I'm out. I don't remember anything after the first punch he hit me on the ground. I remember, though, that I was still awake when I hit the ground. I was still awake.
Look at Rogan's face.
Yeah. You know, because I mean, I was dominating the fight up until that moment, and it was just like one of those. It was only like 20 seconds left in the round, and it was just one of those things. Like, you know, I tried to do too much in the round, but I was definitely winning the fight up until that moment. So if you go back through it, when I'm watching that, it sucks. But I'm saying that to go back to the conversation is I spin, and when I start to spin, and I hit the ground, I see him coming at me, and I'm trying to like post my hands and get back up. But I was never able to do that. But I was still there. I just couldn't move as fast as I needed to get my hands in front. Now, the same thing could have happened to Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler like scrambled for a second, got back to all fours, but then he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. Like he couldn't move, and then one of the shots hit him, and he woke him up. And that's the only thing I can think of. Realistically, he's out. He turns. Because look at how his arm's right there. He's one shot. Look at, they're not moving. He's not moving at all. So, and with the ref in that situation, you know, and Big John's like, it was kind of a little bit of an early stoppage. And what he means by an early stoppage is that you have to know who your fighters are. And your fighter is Michael Chandler and Patricio Pitbull. And so the fact is that you have a guy, both guys are champions. Both guys have fought through wars. Both guys have been through a lot, you know, and that's the simple fact of the matter is you got to let these guys fight. I could agree with what Big John said during that moment, but I do understand in live time, and I'm sitting here watching it in slow time, which makes it easier for me to sit here and be judgy, you know. But the fact of the matter is, in live time, 6 unanswered blows without any covering his head, without turning his head, without trying to turn his face and ball up. It makes sense, man. It does make sense. Not moving. Like he looked out there for that split second, you know, and for the ref, I understand why he jumped in. And I understand it's one of those fights you got to let go, but in real time, you know, it happens. Here's the other thing. When Chandler got back up, Patricio grazed him again, and he got dropped again, even with the ref holding him up. So he wasn't all there again. I mean, we would have potentially seen a highlight reel knockout had Pitbull started getting back to his feet, or Chandler got back to his feet, because Patricio's he's someone that just swarm you and hit you with big shots. So who knows? Chandler might have been able to get the takedown. Chandler might have been able to, who knows? But I mean, I was very impressed with Patricio being the smaller guy. Had a dominant performance. I thought he looked good. He was the one pressing the action. I mean, just nasty. So, I mean, honestly, fights like this are going to make this organization. And here's the thing. You can't take it away from him. He's not the one that stopped the fight. He's the one that was fighting. And I really, really am impressed with the fact that, like, he's now the most winningest fighter in Bellator history. Him, his brother, Chandler, and Lima, those four guys are are the pillars of this organization, and realistically, they're the guys that have helped build this promotion to what it is. You know, Coker has taken them to the next level, giving them these opportunities to do the things that have never been done before, and we're gonna see Patricio in this tournament, and this is a huge win for him. And off of a win like this, though. Do you have a hangover? Do you have a hangover that none of these guys can beat you? And then you start overestimating yourself. You start thinking that you're unstoppable and you have, you know, a crappy performance. Because let's not forget, Patricio he's lost to Jeff Curran. Patricio has lost to Daniel Strauss. He's had those losses. He came back and had redemption for him. But he's had those losses to them, you know. He lost to Benson Henderson, but Ben's not fighting in the tournament. But I'm simply saying these guys are in that tournament. You know what I mean? So he has sometimes a tendency to show up and sometimes to not show up. His fights with Daniel Weichel, both fights, with Daniel Weichel, the first one, he was losing, you know, and then he came back and I don't want to say Hail Mary, but Daniel Weichel overextended himself, and Patricio caught him with a beautiful combination and dropped him and knocked him out. And then their second fight, Daniel Weichel, lost a split decision. But I mean, the fight wasn't as close as that though. Daniel Weichel just didn't show up for that fight. I watched that fight and I had Patricio. It shouldn't have been a split decision. So I mean, it was just one of those fights. His fight with Emmanuel Sanchez was a good fight, but he did more damage in that fight. I mean, the bottom line is he can enter that tournament, he can come out victorious and win it, but it's a 16-man tournament. He's going to be fighting a lot of young guys who don't give a shit who he is. He's going to fight a AJ McKee. He's going to fight. He may end up having a fight at Aaron Pico. He's going to fight a Henry Corrales again, but a more seasoned Henry Corrales, who's been training at the lab now, not someone who's been training in LA, and he's a different fighter now. So these are all guys. There's tons of these good guys in this tournament that's coming up. And man, that's going to be fucking great tournament, man. I think it's going to be huge tournament. It's going to catapult, I think, and then plus there's a ton of guys in the UK that people don't realize that are there. I believe James Gallagher is in it. I believe Brian Moore is in it. You've got a ton of good guys that are going to be in this tournament. And the UK guys are the dark horses, guys that have never heard of, guys that you've never heard of, are the guys that are going to be the ones that are in the quarterfinals and the finals. You're like, shit, who are these guys? I don't even know anything about them. Those are the harder guys to fight because we've had enough time to fight all the other guys. You've had enough time to see all the other guys fight, and like you have Justin Lawrence, you've got James Gallagher, you've got Nawad Lahat, you've got Sam Cecilia, he's tough. Pedro Cavallo, he's in there. Chinzo Machida. I mean, jeez, man. You've got tons of these guys. These guys are, who else? Who else is there? I can't see. No, you got Pico. Who else?
You think Pico is going to be in it?
Yeah.
Archuleta.
Yep. Juan Archuleta will for sure be in it. I know he just signed a long-term deal. Taiwan Claxton, he's in it. I mean, these are all guys in this tournament. So Saul Rogers is a beast, man. He's the guy that just fought in the UK and Birmingham. He got in the finals of the Ultimate Fighter and then had visa problems, couldn't come back to fight in the finals. So then
Gaston.
And then he's got Gaston Bolanos. He's in it. And I don't think Namfam's fighting. He's not fighting anymore. I don't know why he's on there. Yeah, you got Gaston Bolanos.
This is not the real ranking.
Yeah, this is not. But I mean, you've got these guys that I know that are in it. And so you've got a stacked card. Dale Strauss is obviously in it. Pat Curran's obviously in it. So you've got a lot of top guys that are going to potentially be in there. Juan Archuleta for sure is going to be in it. So all these guys are there, man. All these guys, AJ McKee. And who knows, man? Maybe we'll see some. I'm sure that Campos will be in it because I had a long conversation with him after his loss over in the UK, and he was talking about the fact that he wanted to go back down to 45, and I think that's probably where he's going to be. And the same thing with Pedro Carvalho. He's nasty good. He's the one that just beat Campos, but he looked phenomenal. Plus all the other UK guys that are going to be there. That they just signed. They just signed some, I want to say like 50 or 60 UK guys, from over there, and they're all phenomenal, man. They're all phenomenal, and there's not a lot of footage on them. So these guys are gonna have to be ready to fight guys that they maybe have never heard of, and not a lot of recent fights to see and look up and check them out and see how it is. So those are opportunities for guys like Patricio to lose, Curran to lose, Strauss to lose. These are all these guys. So. That being said, man, good stuff. A lot of good things for Bellator coming up.
What do you think about Stipe and DC being rematched?
I think it's stupid, but I mean, I understand why they're doing it. DC's probably going to be done after this. I think there's a good chance he'll be done. There was a little bit of talk of how he wants that fight back at 205, but I don't think it's going to happen, man. After he fights this fight, and by the time he gets ready to fight, if he was to try and fight John Jones again, he'd probably be closer to 41, and it's just too hard. He just turned 40. It's just too hard, man.
What do you think about, so this is something I wanted to bring up to you. So I wasn't bought in on your theory that the UFC doesn't care about big fights anymore because they've got the ESPN thing. But now that they're not willing to pay Lesnar to come back and do the fight with DC, I'm kind of starting to see. Yeah,
I feel like man, it's so funny. It's this sport, and you just never get, like, you think I'm lying or you think I'm not right. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean he wouldn't do it? they're not going to pay him separately. They don't care. They don't. Once that deal happened with ESPN, they don't care anymore. You know.
So horrible, man.
Yeah, I mean, and like, here's the thing: they have a ton of guys that they could fight and match up that make for great fights. What they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to basically build the roster that they have and make stars out of the people they have. And they're going to probably stop trying to do the WWE shit with like guys like Brock or anybody else. And they don't need any of that. Because remember how they brought in Kimbo? They don't need to do that. They had Brock. They don't need to do that. They don't care. They don't care anymore. Their last pay-per-view was 70,000.
That was the one before this one.
That
right?
was the Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway fight. 70,000.
Yeah, but that was on the new ESPN thing, right? There was a lot of issues and all this
70,000.
Yeah, but we'll wait and see what last night's brought out, or the Saturday nights.
70,000. Yeah. That's bad. That's bad. It hasn't been that since SEG owned it back in like 98 or some shit. Like, come on, man.
You see, Brendan was talking about how, you know, Dana's essentially the face of the company now, and like.
What do you mean now? He's been the face of the company forever. That's the thing. He let Conor McGregor be the face for a while, and it kind of backfired on him now. Now Conor's, you know, like playing cat and mouse with him. He's like, yeah, maybe I'll fight. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will. A little bit like Nate Diaz. Maybe I'll fight. Maybe I won't. Like,
there's a fight.
Pay me the money. Like, I get it, man. I understand where Conor and Nate are all coming from, but. Yeah, they don't care anymore. They don't need to. They don't need to pay these guys. Look, we're getting paid no matter what. 500,000 pay-per-views, shit. And we're gonna. And if we outpunt the coverage every once in a while, where it's like 700,000 pay-per-views, cool. But we're gonna do it with the guys we have. We're not gonna go out of our way to pay guys more. I don't think Conor's gonna come back now that whole deal came out. Maybe there's a separate deal that Conor's gonna work out with them. But I don't see anybody for him to fight. Who's gonna fight?
I mean, there's obviously the Khabib rematch that he
That's the stupidest fight ever for him.
Nate trilogy.
Yeah, and I mean, Nate's already signed, though, to fight Pettis, which I'm excited about that fight, though, to be honest.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah, the fight that I wanted to see is I wanted to see Nate and Poirier. I did want to see that one, and then that whole thing happened where they didn't fight.
You see it's at 170, though?
Yeah, I did. Stupid.
For who?
I feel like it's dumb for Pettis. Yeah. I feel like it's dumb for Pettis. I mean... I don't know. I think I've already kind of laid the groundwork on how to beat him, and so did Carlos Condit, and so did GSP on how to beat both the Diaz brothers. And it's like they're both good fighters. They're great for the sport. I love everything they do about it, you know. And so I love everything they do for the just the entertainment side of it all. I think they're wonderful for the sport. The overall issue though is that they don't fight enough. That's it. Like if they fought once a year, I'd be all like, fuck Diaz brother. I'd be all Diaz brothered out. You know, but they fight like once every 3 years or 2 years. Like shit, man. Like just but I think in the UFC, in the UFC's eyes, what you guys gotta understand is that they don't want to fight guys that are gonna like just try to wrestle fuck them. So stop trying to give them those guys. Give him fucking Dustin Poirier. Notice how fast he signed a contract with Dustin Poirier and said yes, he'd fight him. Now he's fighting another guy, another stand-up guy. You know, I mean, they want to fight stand-up guys. They want guys to fight. And why deny them of that?
Do you think there's a possibility that Nate wants to fight out his contract and be done with the UFC?
I don't think so, man. I would imagine. I believe for the Conor fights, he signed an extension. I think he's got like 6 more fights or some shit.
You think he did?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he signed an extension. I know he signed an extension right before he fought for the title against Benson Henderson. And how many fights has he had since then?
Since Benson?
Yeah.
You, Gray Maynard, Rafael Dos Anjos, Michael Johnson, Conor, and Conor.
No, so he's had about 6. I mean, maybe he needs one more fight. I don't know how many fights he signed. But I knew they went for a while where they were trying to sign guys to 6 and 8 fight deals. Yeah, they tried signing me to an 8 fight deal. I was like, no, I don't think so. I signed a 4 fight deal.
An 8-fight deal, man.
Fuck, man, it's
They've been
ridiculous.
locked in forever.
Yeah. I was like, dude, if you guys want to sign me an 8-fight deal, you got to pay me more money.
Yeah.
I was like, no way.
So there's 2 more fights that are announced.
Yeah.
Cowboy and Tony.
Yep, great fight.
And then
I don't get it though. All he posts is champ shit only, and then he takes the Cowboy fight.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
But a lot of things about Tony doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you can't keep hashtagging champ shit only and then not get shot at the title. But I mean, look, I wish he would have taken the fucking Dustin Poirier fight because it'd be him. That fight would have been good.
Right? That he doesn't take that one, then
he turns around and takes this one because this one's harder. This one's a harder fight.
Do you think it's just to do with the division being tied up? Because now he knows Poirier is for sure getting Khabib.
Yeah.
And then Khabib's probably getting.
When are they fighting?
It's June. It's actually his next month, so it's pretty quick.
Wow.
Yeah, because there was talk about it being silly for Cowboy to have such a quick turnaround from.
He does it all the time.
I know, but
I believe
that's why he's always like teetering.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'd like to see that guy get a title shot. I thought they were talking about the potential of the Conor McGregor fight, but then that didn't happen.
Yep.
I'd like to see that fight too.
Maybe if he beats Tony, he gets a
Maybe
winner
he gets
Poirier
Conor
or Khabib.
Yeah, maybe he gets Conor. I don't know, man. I think there's a good chance that Cowboy beats Conor.
Do you think if Nate beats Pettis, they could put him up there for? Pettis is number 8. Just as far as like a
I don't think so, man. Pettis is 9 on the lightweights and he's 8 on the welterweights. That's so weird that he's ranked higher on the welterweights. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then it looks like your boy is finally going to get his title shot. Frankie Edgar, Max Holloway.
Yep. You get another shot at it again. Him and Max haven't fought yet.
No, it fell through last time.
Yeah,
remember?
it fell through twice.
Yeah.
Max got hurt one time, and then Frankie fought and lost to somebody, and then
it was Brian Ortega.
That's right. And then Frankie has a win now over Cub Swanson. I mean, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I'm excited to see all those things that happen. I'm serious. I'm excited. Like, this is what I was trying to get at. They're going to have to start promoting the guys within their own company. Like, they're going to have to start actually putting some money behind these guys because I think the Dana White show is coming to a close. I don't think anybody cares anymore about, like, Dana keeps talking and keeps doing, but no one gives a shit. Like, now that they know that they're guaranteed a certain amount of money, maybe they can start putting some money into their fighters. Not so much as in paying them more, but, like, starting out promoting those fighters to be stars. I don't understand why they did that to Rose also. Rose goes down to fucking to Brazil and fights Jessica Andrade in Brazil, it's in her hometown also too, I believe. I'm thinking to myself, fuck, man, that's brutal. How you gonna do that to her? Like, she just beat basically the best women's fighter out there with Joanna, and she beat her twice, and she beat her convincingly. Frustrating. I'm a huge Rose fan. Thug Rose. Yeah, I'm a DC fan also, but yeah. Anyways. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of things I think going on that I just don't understand that they do, but you know, who knows? I think right now is a great time for Bellator, and I'm not just saying that because I work for the company. I'm just simply saying that there's a lot of things that the fights have been really good, dude. The fights, like our prelims for the fucking the Chicago show, I was like, holy shit, the prelim fights were good. Like, all of them. We had like 10 of them or some shit. And I was like, wow, all these fights are pretty damn good. You know? And then with the huge upset, like Patricio beating up Chandler, the lightweight division being the champ, have then solidify the fact that he has the most wins ever in Bellator history. And he's like one of the original guys, one of the pillars in the organization. I mean, it's pretty impressive, man. It's pretty impressive. So, who knows? I think there's Tony Ferguson has every chance of beating Donald Cerrone. He can beat him on the feet. Cerrone, you know, he's been known to get in trouble a little bit on the feet as well. Sometimes he gets hit quite a bit. Like if you go back to the Nate Diaz fight with him, you know, Nate was able to pick him apart long jabs, long range punching, get in, get out. I don't know if Tony's going to fight that way, but I think Tony has a better wrestling, obviously, than Nate Diaz. So if this fight goes to the ground, I mean, the thing is, people drastically underestimate Cowboy Cerrone's stand-up, or not stand-up, but grappling. His grappling is fucking good. But he just got out hustled and outworked and everything in the Nate Diaz fight. You know, I know that was years ago. Cerrone's not even the same guy anymore. But Nate just put it to him. Like, he was just hitting him with like 2, 3, 4, 5 punch combinations. I was like, holy shit. And yeah, I mean, this was when Cowboy was just trying to stand and bang with him when he should have been trying to kick him to the body, kick him to the head, things like that. You know, perhaps he just didn't want to get taken down. But that was one of the worst performances by Cowboy. Now we just have a different Cowboy. We also have, I think, a more focused Cowboy. Cowboy Cerrone now is somebody with a kid, somebody with life and family and all these other things, you know, that there's more focus, I think. You know, he comes out here and he's trying to get his job. He's trying to get the job done. Not that he wasn't before, but this was like the entertainment business. It was like a young guy that was just, I'm just going to have fun, fuck people up and just, you know, and just go out there and fight. The one you see now is the one that's like, hey, you know, I need to get this win. There's a little bit more goal focused, I think, oriented, and he's still Cowboy. There's no doubt about that, but I mean, I think anyone he fights right now is they're going to have their hands full. This is not an easy fight by all means for Tony Ferguson. Interesting. So it's coming off what Tony's coming off of. I mean, you never know, man. Tony, he's a strange bird. Strange bird. But the one that you can't take away from him, he's a fucking gamer. You know, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. The fight's going to come to fruition here pretty soon. What, in June, you said?
Yeah.
June 30th?
I don't know the date. Can't remember.
Good fight, though. Good fight, man.
Targeted for...
I would have thought they would have put it like as the main co-main for the Dustin Poirier and Khabib fight.
Nobody has a date, it seems like.
Yeah, I thought they would have put it for the
main card. Oh, here you go. Till June 8th. Even.
when?
Like June 8th.
June,
It's
oh,
only
that's
a month.
quick. That's like
Less than a month.
3 weeks.
It's probably pretty much a
Jeez,
month.
who else is on that card? I love
Bantamweight,
watching.
Cerrone, Moraes.
I love watching Tuivasa fight, man. Bogoy, he's fighting our guy. One of the guys that trains at AKA with us. One of the Russians, Bogoy. And then who else on that card?
You got Jimmy Rivera.
Shevchenko. Oh, Jessica. Jessica is on that card.
Oh,
June 8th.
yeah,
That's right. Jessica.
right. Yeah.
God, I feel like we had her on fucking forever ago.
It
I thought
does,
it was gonna be
doesn't it?
coming up so quick.
Yeah.
Wow. And then Peter Yan and Rivera should be a great fight. That'll probably steal the show right there. That's gonna be a great fight.
Pretty good card.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good
not
main
too
card.
bad. Pedro Munoz and Aljamain Sterling, this should be good. Alessa Grasso, she's tough. I like watching her fight. Young girl too. I can't even pronounce the other girl's name, but Carolina.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna try.
Kolokwitsky or whatever her name is. Yeah, that's totally wrong. I know it is. And then Ricardo Lamas, the guy that never got any respect his whole career because the UFC doesn't like him. Angela Hill. I've always liked watching Angela Hill fight too. She's a scrappy little girl. Damn. That's going to be a pretty good card. Not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. What other cards do we have coming up?
Chael Sonnen's the next one for Bellator.
Yeah, that's not till June.
Yeah. Well, that's only next month.
I know, but it's like a month away.
And this weekend you got Kevin Lee and Dos Anjos.
Who do you got? I think Dos Anjos, man.
Yeah.
I feel like his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling will be. I think Dos Anjos is gonna be harder to take down than Kevin Lee thinks. That's one. And I think Kevin Lee will get some takedowns in the beginning, but I think Dos Anjos is just gonna like as the fight goes on, Dos Anjos is gonna keep fighting and keep fighting. And it's gonna be like fuck. And if Dos Anjos touches Kevin Lee's chin,
Yeah.
we're gonna see him do this thanky leg.
Like he did on
this is
Barboza.
Fuck, he did with Barboza.
That is
Shit,
so
man.
Oh man.
Fuck. And then Neil Magny is one of those guys that's never supposed to win, but always does find a way to win.
I like,
know?
he's funny on Instagram. Do you follow him on Instagram?
Who?
Neil Magny.
No, I don't.
He's really funny.
Is he funny?
He's like Derek Lewis funny.
No, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he is.
I gotta follow him now just because you said that. I love Derek Lewis. I fucking go to Derek Lewis's page every day just to see what Derek Lewis posted. If I missed it, I'm like, fuck, I want to scroll. I always like go to his page just to see if I missed something that he posted. That should be a good fight. Charles Oliveira and Nick Lentz should be a great fight.
Aspen Ladd is my girl from Sacramento. I hope she wins.
Aspen Ladd.
Remember she was supposed to fight Holly Holm and then Holly fell off?
Yeah. She gonna fight that remember she's fighting the
girl that took
AU Banks, the one that was all whiny and crying about how she didn't get the title shot against the Montoya girl or Montana girl.
Because the UFC pulled it. It was fucked up.
Oh, well. Who the fuck was she? No one even know who she was until she started throwing a fit, whining and crying. Then she had a good dominant performance at that next fight. So, she's 5-2. You know, calm down. You didn't get the title shot. You didn't deserve one. Calm down. Calm down. We'll go. Who's the next fight there? Who's the next fight there? I'm just spending too much time in fucking the UK. Who's the next fight there? Shit.
I don't know you guys.
Bro, I went to Birmingham.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I have no idea what the fuck they were saying. I was in Newcastle. I understood everyone just fine.
Oh really?
And everyone's like, "You can understand them in Newcastle?" Like, no way. There's no way. The accent's so much harder to understand in Newcastle. I was like, in Birmingham, it's like this. It was horrible. It was like, it was really hard for me to understand what they were. I felt bad. A couple times I asked them, like, "What'd you say?" And they would repeat it. I'm like,
was any of the staff?
you know, when you just, it was all, no. All the Bellator staff, none of them are from the UK. Well, 2 of them are. But like when they talk and you're all, you know when you don't get it the second time? You just ignore it.
And you're like,
you're like, yeah. Yeah, oh, okay, I got it. I get okay. I thought you said. And they're like, yeah, I did say that. I go, oh, that's what I meant. That's what I meant, yeah. All right, let me ask you this. Does BJ Penn retire?
Does he have to is the better question.
Yeah.
He has to.
I mean, I don't say, like, he's got the most consecutive losses now. I want to say 7 or 8. He's my boy, man. I mean, I understand why he's fighting. I get it, but
for the sake of a legacy, like, it's just hard to.
I think when you all look back, no one's gonna care. Yeah. You're gonna look back in years, and everyone's gonna be like, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
And some of these fights, I mean, I just don't think he should have been.
No.
He shouldn't have lost this one.
Yeah, he shouldn't have lost to Dennis Seaver.
Probably shouldn't have lost these last.
Shouldn't have lost to Ryan Hill. I can understand why he lost to Clay. You know, he won the first round against Clay, which was, you know, I think a lot of people were like, I guess he won the first round.
He's also 40 years old.
Huh? Yeah.
He's also 40.
Yeah.
What would it take for Bellator to get you back in the cage? Would it take a Benson Henderson fight?
No.
Because you posted that recently saying run it back, question mark.
Yeah, I was just asking. I want to know people's opinions.
And then if Nate cleared his contract and come over, would that get you back in there?
No. you know, just out of nostalgia, I think the fight that would get me back would be Gil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if we did it a 4th time, it'd be cool. I mean, like, and there's no hard feelings. I got nothing but respect for that guy. He's fucking an animal.
I saw him after Bellator that night. I saw him at the bar, and I was talking to him a little bit, and he's like excited to come down and do the show. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I can't wait to get him and his wife on. The 2 of them are great people, man. Like, I mean, I've known them for so long, you know, and just yeah, I just feel like it, you know, they're just good people. Like, I think also too, like, we've come such a long way in the process of it all, and it's like. And I could tell that he's kind of going through, I think, a little bit of what I went through, like, right before. And it's just the feeling of, like, you like doing it, you love being part of, you've been involved in the sport for so long, you know, and I don't know, man. I've always enjoyed watching him fight. Cool kid, man. Cool, nice guy, great family, good people. You know, that goes for the other 2. You know, Jake is one of my good buddies, Jake Shields. You know, and then you know, Nate and Nick. I've never had problems with them. Like, outside of the fact that I fought Nate, but I've never had problems with any of them. Gil and I were a little weird between fight 2 and 3, And a little bit after fight 3, we were a little weird because, because I felt like I beat him in the third fight. But whatever, man. And he's 37. He's got a fight coming up. They're saying, I don't know who his opponent is yet, but I mean, from what I understand, he's fighting. Oh, there it is. Arnold Allen. I don't know who that is.
Me neither.
Let's take a look. I think I'd like to see him get a win. He's had a tough go. He fought Edson Barboza. He fought Jeremy Stevens. I mean, he fought some tough guys, man. He's a tough kid. Tough guy.
He's fighting a really young kid with a good record.
Yeah, 14-1, 14-2.
14-1.
14-1. Yeah. Oh, he's a fight at 145. That's right, at 145.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you now, right now, I can tell you, like, I'll just tell him if him and I were to ever fight again, I'd be like, we're not cutting weight, dude. Whatever we weigh is what we weigh. This is what we do. This is a catch weight. I'm not cutting weight for this fight. Let's just fight at whatever weight we're at. There's no reason to, So but that would be it, and it would just be out. It's just strictly out of nostalgia, man, and no disrespect at all whatsoever. I wouldn't even definitely no disrespect. But think about it: Anthony Pettis, Eddie Alvarez.
He lost the title to Pettis, right?
Yeah, no, he lost the title defense to Pettis. Pettis was the champion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So tough fight, man. Tough fights. He's fought the who's who, man. Tough guy. Anyways, I think that's it, huh?
Yep. T-shirt news coming up soon. Keep
Yep.
an eye. Keep an eye for
Yep.
T-shirt news because hopefully we're gonna have an announcement there in less than a week.
Yeah,
This week, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get together, guys. I've been traveling so much, and these two knuckleheads can't make any decisions without me because they can barely tie their shoe and walk. But yeah, sounds good, man. So look, hit the subscribe button on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those other ones. Hit the subscribe button, man. Follow us. Let us know your comments and responses in the YouTube channel. And follow me at The Real Punk on IG, Snapchat. Don't even go to Snapchat anymore. I'm just gonna delete it. I don't even know what the passcode is anymore. I think I logged out of it one day and I just never went back. Yeah, anyways. I don't know why I said that. Just hit me up on IG. That's it. And Twitter. IG and Twitter. At The Real Punk on IG and Twitter. Don't even bother with my Facebook, okay? Because I'm not adding any new people. So just don't even bother. Just go to YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. You hit the thumbs up. That shares our videos and lets people know that you liked our video. And that lets you know like who's in comment, whoever likes whatever videos you like and that kind of thing. That'll help get the word around. Just do us a favor, man. We're trying to spread the word, get the whole thing out there.
And then Podcast Dave, because I officially...
Oh, we officially changed your name. You know what? It looks so clean now.
Does it?
When I read it, I'm like, oh, who is that? Oh, wait, that's Podcast Dave. It looks so much better than David _Glasgow _UK some shit. I don't know what it was, man. It was like something ridiculous.
Yep. Podcast Dave.
Podcast Dave on...
Get my followers up too.
Yeah, how many followers you got?
1150.
Wow, you got less than my gym.
Fuck you.
That's crazy. My gym has got a lot.
Well, I was hoping that this podcast may help that. So, but obviously,
you obviously don't post enough. You obviously don't post enough. It's funny. I post stuff, and my stuff jumps up by hundreds every time I post something.
But you're also on TV once a week.
Yeah, So I work hard. Sorry, my bad.
All
right, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning in, Punk's Opinion. Hit the subscribe buttons on the YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter, all those things, okay? See you guys next week.